On September 19th, 2021, at around 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time, I had my first stream as a VTuber, as who I am today. 3 years later, I don't know what I expected to happen during those 3 years. I'm happy to be a VTuber for as long as I have it and continue to be so. I'm happy I've made it to this point, through the many ups and through the lot more downs than there was ups, to be honest. Today, I have decided to do a little something different with not only how this channel works, but also how I work as a creator. I've decided to make a little video on a few things. I'm going to probably be making a couple of these videos over the next couple of weeks in the same style, where I'm just going to be kind of rambling and chatting for a couple minutes about a specific subject or something that might be going around in the VTuber industry. And maybe throw out a couple random videos here and there about certain subjects that I may particularly be an expertise on, maybe. I don't know if that's the right terminology, but we'll work with it, hopefully. I don't normally do these kinds of videos because a lot of my chatting streams and a lot of my streams in general are pretty much this, in a way, just a bunch of yapping and a bunch of nonsense, but not a lot of people tend to watch them. Not a lot of people, especially after they miss it the first time, they're there to hear it the second or the third time. So it ends up becoming an issue to where I have to end up repeating myself a lot, which is something that a lot of VTubers have to do whenever they do a little bit of chatting and whenever they want to talk about stuff and whatnot, but there's that. I want to kind of just sit here today and just kind of go through what I've experienced as a VTuber for the last 3 years, but kind of sum it up in a little bit and try to make it to where I'm not here for an hour talking about my whole 3 years, but rather just a few things that I feel like I need to just kind of get off my chest a little bit. The one main thing here is that I kind of didn't expect to make it all the way to today. The main thing being that while I have been streaming for 3 years, the first year was more of a growing period than anything else. It kind of just wasn't supposed to be taken seriously in a way, and in the end, it didn't really matter. I'm talking about this because for those that aren't familiar with my backstory or anything like that, when I started VTubing, I was in an agency that is now defunct, and ever since then, I've had to kind of restart everything and transition from being an agency VTuber into being a independent VTuber. And when I did that, I had to remake all of my accounts, every single one of them, to the YouTube, to the Twitch, just everything. I had to remake everything, so any sort of progress that I made, any sort of following, any sort of community that I had from that first year from being in that agency, most of it, if not a lot of it, was gone when I moved over to independent VTubing, because not a lot of people followed me over from the independent, or I should say, not a lot of people followed me from the agency side of things over to the independent. But for those that did, those are the true OGs of my time. And there's a few people that are still sticking around with me to this day, which again, appreciate to the highest level, because it's not easy. It's not easy trying to do the same things over and over and over again for 3 years. Especially when you aren't getting the results that you kind of feel like you should be getting, but that's just how content creation is. I am going to quickly mention how I have been perceiving my content over the last couple of months, and as well as ever since I became an independent VTuber. Things have been different. Things have been shape-shifting almost every other week when it comes to the stuff that I do and what I do on streams and stuff like that. I've always had a little bit of a background in sports commentary, so that's what got me into VTubing in the first place. And I've tried my best to work that into some of my content, and I feel like I've had a lot of fun doing that and a lot of enjoyment out of doing something similar to what you would see on a typical Friday, Saturday, or Sunday night on TV, especially on sports channels. And I do enjoy them, and they're fun to mess around with. They're fun to do on stream. They're fun to set up, and they're fun to do all that. But I have always had problems with everything outside of that when it comes to the content that I make. For basically, out of the 3 years that I've streamed and the 2 independent years, the content that I've been doing for most of that time frame was mostly just variety. I would always do like random games, like first-person shooters, adventure games, just random games out of the blue, right? But I always had problems, and I still do to this day, and it's not just with streaming. It's typical of me, I guess. I will have a horrible time having consistency when it comes to what I do and what I play, both on and off stream, like I mentioned before. So it just becomes a tricky process as to what I can do on stream that I can consistently do. That's what I kind of also had a fear of as well. I didn't want to play just one game forever or one specific type of game forever, because I felt like I would have been trapped. So I started becoming more variety when I started becoming a VTuber, especially in the independent days. That actually was a mistake by me to not only think that, but make that what I was, which was a very variety VTuber, because I would not have a consistent schedule. I would not have a consistent batch of games. If you saw, let's say for instance, an Apex stream one day, it would be months before you would see it again. If I played Minecraft once on stream, then it would take me months before I would play it again, because I would just not have I would just not want to play it for so long because I have other commitments and other priorities. But every game, there was like 30 different games that I would be like wanting to play, and I just wouldn't be able to do all that because I would not be consistent enough with that. And that also goes with making a schedule while we're on the subject of consistency. I've always just struggled with being consistent as a VTuber, and I feel like that's what's hindered me for the last 2 years, we'll say, because of being independent. But for what it's worth, the streams that I do, and, you know, for the most part, the stuff that I do, I enjoy. Continuing on with the stuff that I do, content-wise, I started becoming more of a sporty VTuber just because of my insane love for basically all sports, for good or for bad. Now, I've always kind of held myself back beforehand because I always thought that I would not be scratching a itch or a niche, filling a niche, I should say, with doing something that just wouldn't be commonplace for VTubers. You rarely, if ever, see VTubers talk or do anything sports related, unless there's like HoloLive that got sponsored by the LA Dodgers or something like that. It's just not something you see very often, and it's not something I thought would work. I was holding myself back a lot because I didn't think that that would be something that that I could enjoy on stream at the same time too. And to a degree, it has worked, and I do enjoy it, but it's also comes with a lot of cons and a lot of things that it's a lot of I'm not a big fan of saying that I'm a sports VTuber, if I'm completely honest, just because I still have a lot of people that have found me through like Apex or Minecraft, or just other ways, I guess. I don't know how a lot of people have found me, to be honest. That's kind of scary to think about, but yeah, I don't know how people found me. I don't know. If anybody found me through something, I would like to know in the comments. That would definitely help me figure out what the hell. That definitely helped me figure out what the hell I am. Am I a chatty VTuber? Am I a sporty VTuber? What the hell am I? I don't even know. I'm having a midlife crisis, if you couldn't tell. I'm not going to go much into this little subject right now because I do actually plan on talking more about it in a upcoming yap video, I guess. I want to discuss mentally how I feel about being a VTuber for, I want to say, more than 3 years now at this point. Because, like I said in the beginning of this video, there has been a lot of ups, but a lot more downs. It is very much a roller coaster when you are a content creator, and there's really no secret to it that I've struggled with consistency, motivation, confidence, just the whole 9 yards when it comes to everything. When it comes to streaming and it comes to creating content, it's not good for your mental health to let things get to you, and unfortunately things do get to me, and it's not healthy whatsoever. I've had a few long breaks in my time as a VTuber, whether or not it's for any reason in particular. Like, for example, I went to Germany before as a VTuber, which was nice, albeit very scuffed and very off the cuff, and I do wish I could go back, and I kind of think I should, but I've also been trying my best to save up for moving to Japan, which is my my all-time goal, my dream goal, my life goal. And I'm getting closer to that goal. It's just, I gotta be patient with that, so there's that. But speaking of Japan, I also took a month-and-a-half vacation to Japan in Osaka, which I talked at length about on this channel on a live stream before, which was fucking incredible. Absolutely enjoyed my time over there. I just really did miss my time being a streamer, so that definitely didn't help. I definitely missed streaming during that time. And even though I was in Japan, I couldn't stop myself from streaming. I streamed at least once. It is lost media technically, but I did stream an IRL stream when I was over in Japan, and that was really fun. Those are like the only two exceptions that I've had when it comes to like kind of missing streaming when it comes to being away, which is not often that I have that happen. That's the only two exceptions. For a lot of this year, it was spent gone. It wasn't spent streaming, it wasn't spent creating content, it wasn't even spent making music, to be honest. I just kind of left for about a month and a half to 2 months. Like I said, I'm gonna make another video about this, talking about, you know, what it takes to be a VTuber mentally, and I'm going to mention a lot of topics on that I don't want to get into right now. So there's that, but I am going to say this. There's a lot of stuff that goes on in the VTuber industry that absolutely sucks mentally, and it's draining, and it's terrible, and it sucks. It fucking sucks, man. So I'm gonna just leave it at that. Like, legitimately, I'll leave it at that. The last thing that I will talk about here, because I don't want to yap on for too long. I don't know how many people are going to see this all the way through from second one to the last second. I don't know. I don't know if I really want to make these yapping content kind of videos a regular thing. But I just want to throw out a little special thank you message and a little bit of a little talk after being a independent VTuber for 2 years, but being in the industry for more than that as well. I say 3 years because it has been 3 years since I started streaming, and it's been 2 years since I've started streaming independently, so it has been a roller coaster of a ride, to say the least. I am going to continue my journey through and through as always, but like I said, I definitely wanted to make something a little bit special of a video just to say thank you to everybody that has not only watched my streams or have seen some stuff from me, even if it has been just at least a minute. If you know why I exist, that's all I can ask for at this point. But yeah, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and thank you for 3 years.